Good morning, everyone. Today's our regular meeting for the Workforce Development Board meeting for Thursday, March 20th. Madam Recording Secretary, ready for roll call?
Ryan Bisley,
Here.
David Elliott, Jack Healy,
Here.
Margie Nader, here, Patrick Cortez, Maria Rosa Lopez, Enrique Perez, Robert Reeves, Robert Tucker,
Here.
Johanna Rivera, here, Stacy Campbell,
Here.
Janet Barnum,
Present.
Gil Araujo, here, Matt Garcia,
Here.
Brenda Miller,
Here.
Natasha Milatosis,
Here.
Patty Sully,
Here.
Corey Sams,
Here.
Benita Hubbard. Thank you, we have one.
Thank you. We have forum. This meeting is now called to order. Please join me in rising for the pledge of allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
The members of the public may address the Workforce Development Board meeting regarding non-agenda items with the subject matter is jurisdiction of this committee. No action will be taken and no agenda items unless authorized by law. Do we have anyone available for public comment who would like to share a report?
None.
Thank you. So this is for the for our consent calendar. This is time for us to consider the matters under consent calendar items 1 through 3. Do we have a motion to consider items 1 through 3?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Anyone opposed? The matter is approved by unanimous consent. Now we're going to move on to the business calendar. We will now consider the matters under the business calendar. We have 2 items under this business calendar. For item number 4, the local area subsequent designation and local board recertification program for years 2025 through 2027. The staff report on this matter.
Yes, if you can get a first and a second, there'll be discussion.
Well, we will move to vote. First by Bob Tucker, second through Brett Beasley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Approved by unanimous consent. For item number 4,
Oh, wait, if I could may, it's every 3 years, the Workforce Development Board needs to, or every 2 years, has to go through a recertification process and redesignation by the governor's office. So in your packet, exhibit 1 is the document that will be submitting. We have 2 vacancies we actually have 3 vacancies in private sector. We lost Veronica from Stouffer's Biscuits. She had to step down for business reasons in February. And so we're in the process of talking to Marco Corona, who's the head of the talent acquisition or HR department for GK and Aerospace. And I'm getting his resume and getting ready to prepare to send that to City Council. And then we're in the process of recruiting 2 additional private sector members. I'd love to see more manufacturers on our board to represent our community, or hospitality would be nice since those are larger industries. Natasha's here with Ultimed, so that helps us with our medical. If you have any other medical contacts, that would be helpful as well to add to our board. And all the other positions are currently filled. We've also met the performance standards that are required. Just recently, the state did an overlay of our performance, which is called a SAM, Statistical Area Model. The more hard to serve residents that you serve, the measures can go down because of the barriers that many of our clients are receiving. Staff spends a lot of time documenting those barriers, and therefore the performance here is in the 70s, 60s, which was met. It boomed all the way up to 100% for every category. So that statistical area management indicates that we're truly serving hard to serve residents who have barriers in our community. But I wasn't allowed to use those new numbers. I had to use the other numbers. So with that, this item, once a vote is taken, will go to City Council in their April meeting and then submit it to Sacramento.
Thank you. So we are now agenda item number 4.
If we could do a vote on it now.
Oh, sorry. Back to it. Can we take a vote? Let's prepare to vote. Do we have a motion?
We have the motion, the first and the second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Approved unanimous consent. Moving on to item agenda number 5, the Regional Unified Local Workforce Plan for the program year 2025 through 2028. I've required under Federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. Is there a staff report? For item number 5? No.
We have a motion to discuss.
Motion. Moved by Brent, second by Bob Tucker. Let's take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Approved unanimously.
And then if we could just address the 2 plan documents.
Okay.
I'd like to introduce Annette Whittle. Many of you have met Annette over the years. She's our regional organizer, works closely with Santa Ana, myself, Marco Lucero in Anaheim, and Nancy Cook with the County of Orange. And she helps us coordinate and collaborate in serving the region of the County of Orange. She had the joy of putting together our regional local plan, and I'd like her to give some highlight points on that.
Good morning, everyone. So, as you may know, we have to do this local and regional plan every 4 years. So we do a unified local plan with 3 boards and then a regional plan for the areas. Some areas do separate local plans, but we do one together because of the footprint of Orange County. We share many of the same partners, right? So it doesn't necessarily vary that much. And we try to be in line with strategies across the board. As you know, Orange County is a very dynamic community. We serve 3.1 million residents in Orange County. We have a GRP of 325 billion. And current workforce participation is at about 62.07%. Some of the things that we have to really pay attention to in this area, which you guys have probably heard, is the aging population is one thing that represents a challenge in our workforce community, as well as changes in youth population, the shifts in that influence their future job demands, whether that be from a skills-based perspective, and then from in this area, just being able to retain those young folks so that they will work in our community and can afford to live in the community at the same time, right? So for those of you who may have kids, if you're okay with them living till you're 50, then we don't have any issues, right? But if you want them out of the house, then we may have some problems. But so the work age population dynamics are really changing in those, the younger generation. Retention has been an issue with a lot of employers across every industry, and just how do we retain them? Or do we retain them, right? Or do we understand that they don't want to be somewhere for 30-something years in one job, right? So really understanding those dynamics and how we work with our industries to ensure that they have a pipeline, and possibly knowing that people are going to leave. It may be less painful that they leave as long as you have someone to fill that position. So we can do those things through kind of our industry sector conversations. We have key industries that we're going to focus on. We have healthcare and social assistance, advanced manufacturing, technology and information services, hospitality and tourism. And then we've added one, which is construction and green infrastructure. So typically in the past several plans, we've only focused on the 4 industries. Not to say that we don't do anything in any other industry, but these are our primary focuses when it comes to industry engagement and having those industry conversations. These industries are in alignment with some of the other plans that are in the area, so that Orange County Regional Consortium, which is our consortium of community colleges, we're in alignment with them. They do have 4 other industry sectors that they add on to that. I'm sorry, 3 others, since we've added our 5th one. They have 3 others that they focus on. And then we are also in alignment with the Jobs First plan, with the exception of information and technology. Information and technology did not make it into the Jobs First plan. But of course, we know that that is an important industry in the Orange County region. And also it is in alignment with the SEDS plan. So that was one of the key things in this plan, is to try to make sure we are all in alignment so that we can pull all of our resources, so that as a region, we are moving in the same direction. We're not all of these different workforce and education entities doing different things. So that was an important aspect, I think, of this plan. We have regional indicators that we have to focus on, which one of them was an indicator that we've always had, which was communicating industry workforce needs to supply side partners. And then we have indicator B that we added, which is policy supporting equity and job quality. The indicator B really will build off of conversations that we will have in indicator A. Okay, so that is really getting industry sector conversations going throughout the region. We're going to start with healthcare. We've been doing a lot of foundational work to really bring our partners together to say, let's do this collectively instead of taxing businesses to go to a bunch of different meetings. So we are working with Orange County Department of Education, Orange County Business Council. We have VitalLink, United Way, CEO Leadership Alliance, and our Orange County Regional Consortium, a consortium of community colleges who are kind of in agreement at this point to say, how are we going to engage the healthcare sector collectively? The idea is that we have robust industry meetings where we have a lot of industry at the table providing the information that we need. And then we work with our education workforce development board to kind of work in partnership to solve those problems. We cannot do it alone. People will come to us all day long and say, we need nurses. You know, the schools can't train nurses if they don't have clinical slots. At the end of the day, the hospitals say, well, we don't have clinical slots. We don't have the bandwidth to give you more, but it's the chicken or the egg problem. So collectively, we have to say, how does that work? With OCBC at the table, I think their advocacy could be, you know, key in possibly saying, hey, you know, we need to have more VR time or something, or be able to have VR time versus some of that being on site, if that's a possibility. Things like that, that will open up clinical slots so that we can get people trained. You can give them classroom training all day long, you fill a class, but if we don't have those slots, then we really just can't deliver a fully trained person that can get licensed, right? So those are things that we need to really kind of tackle. We have a lot of meetings where people tell us the problems, but it really is getting to the action. And so we're really hoping that we can get move further in that direction and start our industry conversations. OCBC is convening currently healthcare providers, getting feedback from that. And then we will move into the next phase of that, of really galvanizing our educational providers and workforce development, say, okay, what is our next steps to do with the information that they provided, and then reconvene our healthcare industry. Once we have that industry strong, industry sector convenings, and we will move on to the other industries. And so we've got some traction there already. We've been working hard at that. And those are probably kind of the main things. I don't know if there's any questions anybody has for me. Oh. All right, thank you.
Seeing that there are none, the second item number 5, Regional and Unified Local Workforce Plan for program year 2025 to 28, as required under the Federal Workforce Innovation Act. Do I have a motion to approve item number 5? We have a second. Let's prepare to take the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimously approved by consent. We are moving on to the committee report for the Youth Council Committee.
The Youth Council will be putting out a request for proposal. Currently, we have Orange County Therapeutic Art Center. We're looking to see if we can get other providers. And our next meeting will be April 10th.
Thank you so much. Do we have any comments by staff members?
I do, piggybacking on what Bob just said about the RFP, proposals are due back at the end of this month. And the Youth Council is going to rate them and make a recommendation to the Workforce Board to come in May to recommend the City Council to award to who or whom, we don't know, or how many it will be. So heads up, that'll be coming down in your May packet. Staff has found that we had about 500,000 youth dollars that needed to get programmed and put out there because we have another year to spend it. And so this RFP is going to help us do that. And then whoever is awarded will be on our official vendor list for the next 2 years, because we usually do a 4-year RFP cycle. This is in the middle of that cycle. We all know continuing resolution was passed, right? Woohoo, yay. We have a budget, or we have something of a budget. We always stayed whole, as we understand it. There was some clawbacks of National Dislocated Worker Grant funds. We have one now, but it's almost fully spent, so it's not going to affect us in that case. And there was, remember what else? Anyway, we all came out okay. We should get our funds or hear about funds in the next month or so for our youth funds. And then the Congress is also working on a new budget for 25-26, and that's where it'll be interesting, right? That's where the rubber meets the road on that one. Reauthorization, I spoke briefly in January. It was tabled in December. It's really not on the forefront right now, other than our lobbyist is indicating it'll probably be in the fall of this year that Congress will take up the to reauthorize the WIOA. There was a committee meeting that was held in the Capitol last week, the Higher Education Workforce Committee in the House. While nothing came from that House meeting, they did at least agree on both sides of the aisle that workforce is important to them. So that's a good starting point. It's good to be spoken in that way versus in anger or whatnot. So everything's still up in the air. So as staff, I've just tried to prepare our team is to stay agile and stay nimble and use your peripheral vision and think outside of the box when it's appropriate or necessary, and don't focus too much on what's going on the Hill right now. Just do our jobs. Wanted to introduce you to our city clerk's office. I think yesterday you may have received some emails. If you could kindly pay attention to them. We're trying to get everyone back into compliance on ethics 1234 and form 700. So I appreciate your time and taking a look at it, and she'll be available after the meeting. She has some hard copies if it might make it easier for you to take a hard copy, particularly that form 700. I think ethics you got to do online. If you've done it for your employer, feel free to share that certificate of completion. We can utilize that so you don't have to do it 4 times for 4 different boards or what. And then a heads up, we have MOUs that are due to be renewed. So that's where our workforce board is to have MOUs with 12 mandated partners. And so I'm in the process of updating the boilerplate with our city attorney's office. Finance has been polishing the numbers of what it costs to run an AJCC, America's Job Centers. And then there's 6 that are physically located with us. And so they will share the cost of that, running the operations based on their occupancy. And then we have, I believe, 9 partners who don't have a physical presence here, but yet they're still part of the system. And so heads up for your May agenda, we'll have our MOUs on the docket to take to City Council in June, with the goal of July 1 is the implementation date. You can tell the state of California is back at their work. Yes. Because the Sacramento administrative staff has been sending lots of emails to me and keeping me on task of meeting these deadlines. So they're definitely back in the game. So I'm feeling it. I'm running a lot. Youth updates. We have a summer job fair coming up April 23rd. It's done in joint with our Chamber of Commerce, Santa Ana Unified, and Santa Ana College. It's going to be held on a Saturday, April 23rd from 10 to 2. So it's, or is it a Friday? It's the 23rd.
It's the 24th. Yeah.
24th? Okay. Thank you, Dave. The 24th. So if you're an employer, we'd like to talk about having a booth there. It is targeting our high school to early college kids, but since it's on a college campus, no one's turned away. So there will be young adults or any adults there as well. So it's not
Thursday the 24th.
Thank you. Thursday the 24th. I will have just returned from vacation. My first in 5 years. So, looking forward to it. I mean, a long vacation. Yeah, time off. So we have the job fair, and then summer work experience. Sandy Barb and her team is running a summer youth work experience up to 20 hours a week for Santa Ana kids 16 through 24. If you are a work site and would like to take on a youth, it is a mentorship. They don't always know anything. Just to get there sometimes is our goal, especially for the first job. So if you're willing to take on a young person and kind of expose them to the world of work and make an impression on them as, different career pathways in your industry that they would never have seen or thought of. It's a great opportunity to take on the youth. So feel free to reach out to me or Carlos and we'll get you connected for that. And then tomorrow we'll be turning in a grant to California for All with the California Volunteers Office with the governor. $2 million proposal to serve youth in a more of an apprentice type program in the nonprofit and public sector. So we're excited about that. That's all my updates. I think Carlos has something.
Good morning, everybody. This morning I passed out a memo that looks just like this. It's basically our rapid response report. Whenever there's a company closure or a mass layoff, the work center's rapid response team is there to help the workers connect to not only the resources of the work center, but also unemployment insurance. This report that shows the rapid response events that have taken place since July, the beginning of our fiscal year. It's been, in terms of frequency, it's been dominated by retail, Party City, Advanced-Auto, Big Lots, and what was the other one? Forever 21,
Yeah.
we're all closing.
Forever
Crazy.
21's not forever
Yeah,
anymore.
it's not forever. That's a good one there. I like that.
Nice.
In terms of numbers,
Cool stuff.
manufacturing has the numbers. There are some unique events that I haven't seen, in a while, but, or ever. But for example, Medtronic, they only laid them off temporarily while they were redoing the roof, I think, if I remember correctly.
They have clean rooms,
Yeah.
so you can't have a clean room running while your roof is going through some
So
maintenance.
that was good. That was actually good. It scared me when I first saw the notice. South Coast Circuits, I believe half of those folks are gonna be picked up by another company. We're still waiting, but I think that's what's gonna happen. And then Stocks, that's actually a dispensary. And at first they were gonna get rid of the operation and it's a warehouse, but it looks like the company will be retaining the drivers. Most of those guys were drivers. So that's it. If you have any questions, you can direct them to Deborah or myself. Thank you.
Question, so I don't really know exactly what the requirements are for state of California. What's the threshold for them reporting to you, or is there one?
If they issue what's called a WARN notice, the threshold is 50 employees more.
Is that required if it's 50 or more to issue a WARN notice? Okay,
That's required, yeah.
got it.
In a rolling 90-day period.
Right.
So basically,
Got
you start counting, right?
Right, because they
So
can
it's
do
not
it,
just 50,
they
you're
can do
right.
it pieces.
Exit, they could, right,
Yeah.
exactly. And you're just required to give people 2 months notice with that. And that's why. You
Yeah.
gotta report it.
You report to the state or the local
Yes.
agencies or?
Yeah.
The state.
You report to the state and then the local too.
Edwards lifestyle.
Most of those layoffs happened at the Irvine site. Santa Ana wasn't really affected as much as Irvine. I believe they just lost the contract, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember.
Is that Edwards?
Edwards Life Sciences. A lot of those workers ended up being Santa Ana people, so we did see them. So.
And then recently, property management company CBR.
Uh-huh.
Publicly traded, so.
Yeah, they lost a contract with Edison, and so they're laying off some of the property management team in Santa Ana. There's a property in Santa Ana.
Most of this we just found out is in Rosemead. That's why I put that in 14 in Santa Ana. We thought it was gonna be a lot more closer to us, but most of that was in Rosemead.
And then, you all have heard the layoffs going on in the federal government.
Right, that was just gonna.
We did have about 50 downstairs. Our IRS office did let go 50 probationary employees that were just hired in last fall. And then also the property management manages a building in further downtown, SBA. They also lost 10 people. And we're just monitoring it. So staff's reached out to them. They've tried, what, you want to explain your situation downstairs?
I guess we can't get into the IRS office. We tell them what we do and what we can do to help folks, but we couldn't get through the security guard. So we tried to pass out our business cards and for any worker that we saw leaving,
Right.
to tell them what we got to offer, spread the word, but so far we haven't heard back.
A few people came upstairs inquiring on the day that they were let go when they found out. So we gave them information. And then just last week, corridor chatter, right? Because the IRS, there's another branch in this corner. I asked them to spread the word if they had any text chains with coworkers or whatnot, to let them know we could, do a Zoom call, Zoom meeting, and inform them of how to file unemployment benefits and the waiting periods that are required, and assistance in looking for work. So we're, spreading the word around that way too.
Thank you. Any additional comments by any board members that they'd like to share?
The only comment I have is regarding back to work issues and EDD, our workforce and the statewide actually will be July 1st. My staff for the region B, which is our region here, will all be coming to work 4 days a week. So they'll all be back in the office 4 days a week. That's Brea, Santa Ana, and work with AJC.
Are they remote now?
They are remote now. We've been working 2 days in the office for the last 4 or 5 years.
Right. So that's gonna be an adjustment.
It'll be an adjustment for everybody, but I think a lot of the staff are, resolved to coming back into the office. And we look forward to that.
Thank you. Any other additional comments? If there are none, our meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 6th.
There's,
Sorry, Bob.
Just one announcement, I apologize for being a little bit late.
Who's back there? Your voices.
Yeah. So next week, next Thursday is our 10th annual GROW Conference, our Economic Development Conference, and I just wanted to mention that to you. You can go on our website if you like to sign up to attend. We have our city manager will be sharing about 8 or 10 development projects here in Santa Ana. We have a great panel that Mr. Jack Haley is part of. They'll be telling us why Santa Ana. Why have a business in Santa Ana? We have Bear Paint being represented. We have Harvey's. We have Sandera Cleaning, and then we have the incomparable Jack Haley on the panel.
Watch out, he's in your pocket somehow.
So that's next week. That's it. 27th.
Thank you, Bob. Any additional comments? We are officially adjourned. Look forward.